Hi there, it's Cozy Suburban Homemaker, or AJ, you can call me AJ. So, yesterday I shared a video about my life. I talked about being born prematurely, some childhood essay, and my mental illness and drug abuse that I participated in, using drugs, and a boyfriend I had. And so where I left off was I was talking about Alan and how we had did a lot of coke together, and yeah, I never bought drugs. It was always just there. I don't know if it's because it was the 80s or what, but or the group of people I hung around with, it was always around. It was always around with the friends I had. And like I said, when I was dating Alan, he was a little older than me, so I think I starting to stutter. Thoughts are going fast. But so one night, I had already had two hospitalizations at this point, but a third hospitalization I had. I'm gonna skip the second one because I don't remember it very well, but I know I was hospitalized right before this third hospitalization because here, I'll tell you. So I was at home one night, and my parents had gone out of town, and I had been sick with like the flu or something. I was on antibiotics. I think I was on penicillin. And my brother Danny was supposed to keep an eye on me. I was 15 at the time, and I was 15 at the time, and my brother was supposed to keep an eye on me. I had recently had gotten out of the hospital for the second time I went into the hospital, but I don't remember that time very well. I do remember the first time I experienced something weird, like really weird, other than, the first time I was hospitalized, it was depression. I was suicidal, and I had took the pills. But this was the first time I actually had felt like something weird. Like I felt like I was laying on the floor doing my homework, and I felt in my head like it was just a game that I was playing. It was a game, and there were monsters, and everyone was an actor, and everyone had a role to play, and everything started making sense to me in my head. Everything started making sense. Everything was clicking, and it was a paradox. And this is the thoughts that was going on in my head at the same time. And I started writing really bizarre things in my school book, and it was a really strange. It was really. That was the first time like something. Didn't seem normal in my head, and yeah, I had ended up, like, I ran down the street and went to a church down the street from us. I wanted help. I felt like I needed someone to help me. I felt like I needed Jesus. And when I get sick, a lot of times I have very religious delusions, and I always feel like I need Jesus when I get really sick. I actually feel like it's like demonic influences. But I mean, I really do have a mental illness, but I still feel like it's demonic influences that are at play, and that really are messing with my mind, and confusing me, and attacking me. it really feels like I'm possessed. But mental illness is a real thing, and I really do have a mental illness, but it really does feel like a possession when it's going on. I'm not there. I'm not in. I'm like physically there, but my mind isn't there. My mind isn't there, and I'm not thinking rationally, and I can't control what I'm thinking. I can't control it at all, and I can't control my emotions, and it's very scary. It's very frightening. I've had some very frightening delusions and hallucinations, and yeah, one time I had a hallucination with the TV. There was a symbol on the TV. It was, I don't know if you've heard of Danzig, but there's a Danzig symbol on the TV, and it flew off the TV, and it was in the air, and it was floating around in the air. And I've seen like snipers that weren't really there, but I saw snipers on the neighbor's roof, and a lot of times I think people are trying to get me. People are trying to get me, and they want to hurt me, and there's always been a thing with cameras not being watched, feeling like I'm being watched all the time. And now, of course, in today's world, we probably are, and being watched and listened to. But there was always a thing about like recording devices and the government and, CIA. maybe as schizophrenics were right all along. The way things are turning out in this world. But so yeah, anyway, so this one particular night, my brother Danny was watching me, and I was 15, and he was keeping an eye on me because my parents were out of town, and I had just gotten out of the hospital. And Alan came over. He just came over to our house. I didn't know he was coming over, and he asked me if I wanted to go to a party with him, and I wasn't supposed to go anywhere. But I sweet talked my brother into letting me go, and so I ended up going to this party with Alan. I'm about to get the hiccups. I need to get a drink. I'm about to get the hiccups. Diet Pepsi. It's my weakness. But my nose is running. So, and I wasn't supposed to go out, and I had no business going to a party at 15 anyway. And so me and Alan went to this party. Alan actually had a nice red Jeep, and he worked a regular job, and I'm pretty sure he was dealing drugs. I don't know for a fact though. So, but the way he always had it, he always had drugs, and I guess you never really completely know someone. So we went to this party, and I didn't know anyone there. He was the only one I knew. They're all older, and his friends, and I didn't know anyone, and I felt very uncomfortable there. And I was standing there, and he would like leave and go talk to someone, and then this one time he said, I'm gonna go talk to someone or do something inside, and just wait here, don't go anywhere, just stay right here. And of course, being the obedient girlfriend that I was, I went, I walked up to it was an outdoor party. I walked up to the table where they had alcohol, and I went and got a beer. And I chatted with the guy that was giving me the beer for a minute. And while I was filling my beer up, this guy walked up to me. He was like, he's about 5'10", and had blonde hair, short on the sides and spiky on the top, blue eyes, white, and he was wearing a trench coat and I think like Doc Martens, and good looking guy. And he started talking to me, and I can't remember exactly what he said to me, but the next thing you know, we were leaving, and we left with we left with three of his friends. Oh, he wanted to know if I wanted to go back to his place and party, and at the time I didn't know what that actually meant, and I obviously said yes because I ended up going with him, and I don't know why I would say yes though. That's kind of weird, but I must have, so because I ended up, we were walking out the gate, and his friends were in the car, and they actually told me to duck in the car. And this guy was 21. That's what he told me. He was 21. And so we went back to his house, me and him and two of his friends. And while we were there, we're in their living room, his living room. He had a house, and we were in his living room, and they asked if I wanted to smoke weed, and I said no, I don't. I don't smoke weed. I didn't really smoke weed. And then the guy said his name was Sam. I don't know his friend's name, but the guy I was talking to, his name was Sam. He asked me if I wanted a beer, and I said sure. So he went in the kitchen, and I was sitting on the couch. I was sitting on one couch, and his friends were sitting on the other couch. Those two friends were sitting on the other couch, and he got me a beer, and he brought it out to me, and I drank the beer, and I don't remember anything after that. I don't remember anything until I woke up, and I was seeing God. I thought I was actually having sex with this guy, Sam, and I woke up, and I was having sex with Sam, and I thought he was God, and I thought we were like Adam and Eve, and I guess I was having a religious delusion, or I don't know what. And then I like blacked out again. But I remember that part. And then I just remember the next day getting up thinking that we're the only two people in the world. We're the only two people in the world, and I didn't have any clothes on. And I just walked outside naked, and he had a puppy. He had a little puppy, and it was really cute. And then I got in the shower, and I was wigging out. I started hearing the voices of like people from my past and people that have died, and I started hearing their voices, and I started freaking out and yelling and screaming, and the next thing you know, the paramedics were there, and they took me to the hospital. I didn't know where I lived. I was not well at all. So they took me to the hospital, and I was hospitalized for the third time. And I really believe that night, when he went and got my beer, that they slipped something in my drink. And I don't I don't know if I had sex with all three of them. I just remember the one guy. I don't know what happened to his two friends. I don't know what happened after drinking that beer. And I don't even think I drank all of it. Yeah. So I went into the hospital, and then years later, I'm skipping forward to my life history, but I was 15 when that happened, and then when I was 18 or 19, I was working at a vet hospital. I was a vet assistant, and that guy came in there with his dog, and that was weird. And then we actually ended up, I'm strange, I guess, because we actually ended up going out to dinner and going back to his place to have sex. I wanted to see if it was going to be like it was. I don't know what I was doing, to be honest with you. I wanted to see if it was going to be as weird as it was that night. I don't know. It doesn't even make any sense. It was stupid. I shouldn't have gone out to eat with him, and it was stupid. It was all. My life is strange. It was strange. Thank you, Jesus, for bringing me out of all this. Thank you, Lord. Okay, so where was I at? Oh yeah, so I went into the hospital for the third time, and after that hospitalization, so I was 15 then. So this was funny. This was weird. While I was in the hospital at that time, it was a psychiatric hospital for adolescents. And while I was in the hospital at that time, I was at the cafeteria. I was eating breakfast or lunch. I don't remember what meal of the day it was, but I was sitting. I brought my food outside, and I was sitting at a table outside. And then I heard someone say, "AJ, is that you?" And I kid you not, it was my future mother-in-law. See, Greg and I, my husband, we had been friends. We were good friends. I had met him at 14. I was 14, he was 16, and I had met him through my friend who was dating him. And no, I didn't take him from her, not at all. I had lost touch with that girl, and Greg and I had remained friends over all these years, and we ended up getting married many years later after their relationship was over. But yeah, so my future mother-in-law, which I had no idea was going to be my future mother-in-law at the time, was staying at the hospital in the adult unit. I think she was struggling with alcoholism at the time, and she overcame that, by the way. So praise Jesus for that. And but yeah, she came up to me while I was at that hospital, and we started talking, and she was very nice, and it was really cool to see her. And yeah, it was a trip, because I had no idea that many years later she would be my future mother-in-law. But she just said, "AJ, I'm Greg's mom." She remembered me, so that was really cool. Neat lady. So I was in the hospital during that time. I guess I'll stop here. It's about 19 minutes long, and that was my third hospitalization. And at that time, what my adopted mom told me was the doctor had said, just put her on birth control and let her go. That's what my adopted mom said, that the doctor said to her, put her on birth control and let her go. So, yeah, I don't know if he actually said that, but, and the doctor had asked me what would and I guess the guy that I was at the party with that night that, I think slipped drugs into my drink, he actually brought flowers to the hospital. So he brought flowers to the hospital. And even I remember when they were intaking me in the hospital, I was totally like hallucinating. I was having auditory and visual hallucinations when they were admitting me into the psych hospital. And my sister-in-law was there, 'cause like I said, my parents were out of town. My sister-in-law was there, and she was holding my hand, and she was talking to me, and she was very sweet. I remember that very much so. And I had seen visions of things at the time that I thought were going to happen. Like, I don't know if they actually did happen, but I was, in my head, I was seeing like visions of things that were like tragedies that were going to happen. And it was very scary. But yeah, so that guy Sam had brought flowers to the hospital. It was all weird. And the doctor had asked me, what would a 21-year-old guy want to do with a 15-year-old? So, good question. Anyway, so I'm going to end it there. But praise Jesus, he delivered me from all this, and he kept me safe, and I wasn't killed, I wasn't hurt, I wasn't punched, I wasn't cut, you know. The scars are internal. Yeah, anyway, God got me through all this stuff, and I'm so grateful for him. I really shouldn't be alive right now. So, and I'm just scratching the surface of some of the stuff that's going on in my life. But I definitely shouldn't be alive right now. I mean, from the get-go, at birth. So I think God definitely has a purpose for my life. I still don't know what that is. I still don't know what my purpose is. But I'm sure he'll let me know. Right now my purpose is to take care of my husband and daughter and be the best person I can be, and be kind to myself and be kind to others, be kind to my family, and do the best I can do. So anyway, have a beautiful Saturday night, and I will talk to you again soon. Let me know if you like these videos, or if they're a downer, or if you'd rather me just stick to gardening and cooking and not sharing about my life. So, because I really do care what you all think, or like what kind of videos you'd like to see on my channel. So I want to keep this a positive channel, and I hope that my stories could help someone and show that you can overcome the most difficult challenge with God's help, with the good Lord's help, and trusting in him, and never give up, because you never know when a miracle is going to happen. And yeah, it's a miracle I'm here today, and you're a miracle. And I'll talk to you later. Bye. God bless you.